audio interface, microphone, headphones, MIDI keyboard, studio monitors, and even cables. In this video, I'm looking at a $256 music production studio that can be a great home studio setup for someone who's just starting out and on a budget. Plus, some of this stuff is optional, so you can bring that price down even more. And I'll give you some options that might be slightly higher that could be useful in your home studio depending on your needs. I'm Zane, welcome to Audio Tech TV, where it's my goal to help you conquer the tech so you can unleash your creative beast. Links to all of the gear mentioned in this video are down in the description, but right now let's jump in. And the first thing you're going to want to look at is an audio interface. This is going to be the heart of your home studio. So the one that I'm looking at today, this is the Behringer UMC22. It's a decent little audio interface that can give you DVD quality audio recordings. It has a nice clean Midas microphone preamp on the front. It also can be used as a line input. Then you have an instrument input right here. You also have your headphone output on the front. Then on the back, you have your 48-volt phantom power, so you can connect your studio condenser microphones to this without a problem. And you have your outputs for your studio monitors. This will be powered by USB, so it's very portable. You can take it with you and your laptop on the go if that's something you need to do. And the great thing is, this is just $49. Now, one of the drawbacks for your home studio might be the fact that it only has one microphone preamp. You might need more than one, maybe you need two, maybe you need more. But the next audio interface that I would suggest looking at is the Behringer UMC202 HD. It's going to give you 24-bit audio recording, whereas this one's only 16-bit, and it's also going to give you two of the Midas microphone preamps. And the good thing about that one is it's only $30 more than this audio interface. So that's something you might want to consider. But if you only need one microphone preamp, then this is a great choice right here. I recently did a series on my channel where I recorded a song using the Behringer UM2, and the quality was very good. And the UM2 is a step down from this one. So you're going to get decent quality with this. Don't worry about that. We're recording demos and beats and tracks in our bedrooms, basements, or wherever it is we're recording. We're not recording symphonies and operas here. So we're not looking for super pristine audio. We're just looking for something that's going to sound great to us. And this will give you that. What you really want to do is focus on your songwriting and write a great song, because if you've got a great song, it doesn't matter what you recorded it on. People are going to enjoy it because it's a great song. No one's listening to it because of whatever audio interface that you use to record it. Now, the next piece of gear that you might want to consider is a microphone. And the microphone that I'm going to look at today is the Behringer XM8500. This is a dynamic microphone, and it's going to give you great quality audio. You're going to have to EQ it a bit because it can be a little muddy, but EQing vocals is something that you'll probably end up doing anyway, so that's not a huge deal. Now, like I said, I did that series where I recorded a song on the Behringer UM2, and I used a cheap microphone, and this was the microphone I used. And I was very happy with the quality of my vocals recorded through this microphone and the Behringer UM2. There was no issues there. I just EQ'd it a bit, and it was decent. So the Behringer XM8500 is a great cheap microphone. It's just $19. It's a dynamic mic, so it's going to reject some of the background sounds. If you have a echoey room, this can be a great microphone for that. And if there's some noises maybe in the background, this will reject some of those noises and help to make your recording sound a little cleaner. It does require a lot of gain. So if you have a noisy mic preamp, or maybe a bad cable, or a lot of noise in your room, it might show that because of how much you have to turn the gain up on your microphone preamp. I've used this with the Behringer UM2 in less than ideal situations, and I haven't had any issues like that. But that's just something to keep in mind when you're moving forward with this. Now, if you're considering a condenser microphone, it's going to use less gain, and it's going to require that phantom power, but that's nothing to worry about because almost all audio interfaces these days have phantom power on it. The ones that I mentioned earlier, they all have phantom power. So a budget option that does sound great is another Behringer product. It's the Behringer C1. It's a great sounding condenser microphone, and it's only $39. So that's something you might want to consider, or you can grab one of these $19 XM8500s, try it out, see if it works for you. If it's not the greatest mic for your vocals, you're only out $19, which isn't too bad, and you can probably find a use for this microphone later on anyway. Some higher budget microphones that you might want to consider are the Shure SM57. That is a great all-around dynamic microphone. You can use it on vocals, guitar cabinets, acoustic guitars, pretty much anything in the studio. I love the Shure SM57. It's a $99 microphone. It's not terribly expensive, and it's a great all-around microphone. If you know you're only going to be recording vocals, you might want to consider the Shure SM58, as that one is specific to being a vocal microphone, and it's the same price as the SM57, $100, somewhere in around there usually. And for a bit higher budget condenser microphone, you might want to consider the Audio-Technica AT2020. It's a great all-around condenser microphone, and again, it's around that $100 mark. Now, a $100 microphone is still considered a budget option. To get considerably better results, you're going to have to spend a lot more money, but these budget options that I gave you are going to be great for just starting out, and some of these microphones you're going to keep around even as your studio needs grow. Now, this next piece of gear is something that you're going to want to get when you get your microphone. This is an XLR cable, and you want to get one of the male to female XLR cables, not one of those XLR to 1/4 inch or XLR to 3.5 millimeter cables. You don't want to use those for your microphones. They're not going to give you good quality. You want something like this. And a good quality microphone cable isn't going to cost you that much. You can get a decent microphone cable for around $12, maybe even less. I think I paid less for this cable, and it's lasted me quite a few years in the studio. I have several of them for different things, and I really enjoy these. I think I paid like $9 for these cables here. And while you're purchasing cables, you might want to also get a patch cable for guitar or whatever else you might be using a 1/4 inch cable for. Again, this is going to be around $12, $9, $12, something like that for a decent quality cable. And I've included both of these cables into our $256 budget. Now, the next thing you might want to get for your home studio is a pair of studio headphones. And the ones that I'm looking at here are the Behringer HPS 3000 headphones. I used these things for years when I was first starting out. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect, but you're going to get used to the frequencies they hype and the ones that they don't hype, and you're going to be able to use these on your mixes once you start to get used to them. And that's the same with any pair of headphones. Once you start getting used to them, you can use them in your mixes, no problem. You just have to get used to them. And what I like about these ones is they are very good at noise canceling. So if you're recording vocals or something where you've got your headphones on and you don't want a microphone to pick up the sound, these are very good for that. They have decent bass and decent highs in them. And again, like I said, you just get used to them and you're going to be mixing with them no problem. So what you want to do is do your mixes, take them to a CD player, your car, or listen to them on your Alexa or whatever you listen to music on outside of your studio. That's the thing. You want to listen to it outside of the studio and in the air to hear what it sounds like. And then you're going to say, okay, it's a little bassy, or maybe there's a little too much highs in there. So then you go back to your studio, you make those adjustments, and then again, you go back to wherever it is you listen to your music and you listen. Is it great? Is it not great? What needs to be adjusted? Maybe it's perfect. And that's how you're going to get used to your headphones. And that's the same thing with studio monitors as well. So these Behringer HPS 3000s cost $15. They fit the budget really nice, and they're going to give you a nice comfortable pair of headphones to wear in your studio. Now, if you're considering spending more on your studio headphones, I'd recommend going up to around $150, because in that range, you're going to get into the Audio-Technica ATH-M50X, which are great headphones. And there's also the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro headphones, which again are also very good quality studio headphones. Now, are those headphones perfect? No, they're not, but they are a little bit better quality. If you want to get really good quality headphones, you're going to have to spend a lot more money. So I suggest starting out with the $15 option, see where it gets you. Again, I use these for years. They worked for me and they will work for you. All right, so far, if we just stick with our budget options, the Behringer UMC22 audio interface, the Behringer XM8500 microphone, the guitar cable and the microphone cable, plus the Behringer HPS 3000 studio headphones, our total budget right now is at $107, and that might be all you need in your home studio. And that's not bad to get you a studio setup that's going to give you decent quality tracks and beats or songs, whatever it is you want to record, you're going to be able to get great quality with that. But you might want some more gear, so now we're going to get into some of those optional pieces. And before we get into the next piece of gear, I just want to ask if you're enjoying this video so far and getting some value out of it, can you please give it a thumbs up? It really helps my channel out and I appreciate it so much. Now, the next piece of gear, like I said, is optional. You may not need it in your home studio, but it can make your life a little bit easier if you're going to be working with MIDI, and that's a MIDI keyboard. So the one that I'm looking at here is the M-Audio KeyStation Mini 32 MK3. And this is a great little no frills MIDI keyboard. You've got 32 keys on here. You have your octave options over here. Plus you have a mod option and sustain. Like I said, it's a great little no frills MIDI keyboard. It's powered by USB, so it's extremely portable, extremely lightweight as well, and it's going to get the job done. And the keys feel decent. They're not piano action keys by any means, but they're decent feeling keys. And the M-Audio KeyStation Mini 32 goes for around $59, which isn't too bad for a good quality MIDI keyboard. There are other options that include pads and all kinds of things like that, like the Akai Pro Mini, and I think that's around $100 if you wanted to go up to that. But if you just need some keys, this one will work for you, and you can use this to program drums as well. You just use the keys instead of pads, so it's a bit different feel. I actually like using the keys to do my drums, so it's all a preference thing anyway. Now, the next optional piece of gear is studio headphones, and the ones that I have back here, these green and black ones, these are the Mackie CR3s. Now this is a bit older model. They have a newer model which is even better now, and they go for $90. Are they perfect? Nope. But just like the headphones, you're going to get used to the frequencies and you'll be able to mix on them no problem once you're used to them. I used these ones for years, and once I got used to them, I was very happy with them. They're great to have in the studio. If you want to share your mixes with other people in the studio and you don't want to share headphones, these can be great for that. And they're fairly loud for the size of these little speakers. Again, they're $90, not too bad for a set of studio headphones, and they even come with the foam pads for underneath and some cable options for the different setups that you might find on various audio interfaces. So here's our $256 studio breakdown. The Behringer UMC22 audio interface at $49, the Behringer XM8500 microphone at $19, an XLR microphone cable for $12, a guitar cable for $12, the Behringer HPS 3000 headphones for $15, the M-Audio KeyStation Mini 32 MIDI keyboard for $59, and the Mackie CR3 monitors for $90. And this all adds up to a $256 music production studio setup. And again, like I said, some of that stuff is going to be optional in your home studio needs, so you can bring that price down even more, which is not too bad for creating music, because creating music can be relaxing, it can relieve stress, it can just help you get that creativity out of you, which sometimes is needed to get rid of that stress and forget about everything that's going on out in the world. You're in your studio, you're creating music, you're in your happy place, and that's where you gotta be. Now, with how easy it is to release music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and all over the world, you can even start to generate some income with your music and maybe build a little bit of a following and have a community based around your music. It is a great thing. It's a great time to be recording music because you can get this gear for so little and it will give you some great quality. We all have our own personal reason for why we want to make music, and if you write a great song, like I said, no one's going to care what it was recorded on. So don't let your gear hold you back from doing something that you could potentially love doing. Focus on your songwriting and the workflow of recording and editing your music, and you're going to be way ahead of the game regardless of the gear that you're using. Now, if you want to check out that series where I recorded a song with a cheap audio interface and cheap microphone, click up here. Or click down here to see what YouTube recommends. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.